Good morning and welcome to Mornings on the Hill. I'm Nicole Griffin.
And I'm Jacob Reynolds. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. Nicole, everyone is talking about the SU game that's happening in just a few hours.
That's right. The men's basketball team is in Washington, D.C. right now and warming up for their big game against Pitt.
We're going to tell you more about that game in a little bit, but you can make sure to tweet at us with the hashtag #BeatPitt.
But first, let's get your orange juices flowing with a look at our headlines.
If you can dream it, you can make it. Find out how one Syracuse University space is turning dreams into 3D printed reality.
A 30th anniversary celebration for DanceWorks. It's bittersweet for seniors, including the show's director. Find out what she had to say about her final show.
And they were popular around SU, but now they're banned. Coming up, we'll talk to the man who helped bring hoverboards to the U.S.
South by Southwest is an annual set of film, interactive media, music festivals, and conferences that take place in mid-March in Austin, Texas.
Since 1987, it has continued to grow in both size and scope each year and has become an annual rite of passage for media junkies everywhere.
Some Newhouse PR students will be heading to Austin this weekend, and our own Mike Carter is here with one of them to find out what they'll be doing there. Mike?
That's right, guys. I am here with the social media director for Student Startup Madness, Cedric Brown. Cedric, thanks so much for being with us this morning on the Hill.
No problem, no problem. Glad I could come out.
Appreciate it. So you're a master's student in the PR major here at Newhouse, and you'll be heading out to South by Southwest this weekend. Student Startup Madness kind of has a NCAA tournament feel to it. You were telling me before we got started today, SU is going to be playing, hoping to get into the tournament themselves. What is Student Startup Madness?
Well, Student Startup Madness is a 64-team field of student startups from around the nation with digital tech media startups. And so what we'll be doing at South by Southwest is having our finalist round, which we call the Entrepreneurial 8. And ironically, we have two students that have made that Entrepreneurial 8 in Cha-Ching and Fresh U.
Very nice. What made you want to get involved coming out of PR with startups in general?
What really attracted me to the opportunity was to be able to attend South by Southwest. And so I do have experience before in managing social media, and so I saw this as a way for me to really build my social media portfolio.
Sure. Obviously, a lot of startups happening at South by in the recent past, and social media is such a huge component of events like this. What do you guys do in particular to kind of push out your message socially?
Well, things we've really done so far is just to get the teams involved in helping to promote themselves and telling the stories of our Entrepreneurial 8 teams that are going to be presenting on Monday, March 14th.
Very cool. The president will be there this weekend on Friday. We have a chance to stop by and see him, or how does your schedule shaping up over the next, the 9 days that you're there?
Well, I know I have a very jam-packed schedule full of sessions I'd like to see. The president is definitely on my list. I know that line is probably going to be really long, so I don't know if I'm going to feel like waiting in that long line, but I'm going to do my best. I can't use my badge privileges to cut in front of anyone. So.
Absolutely, and I know we have Michelle Obama will be speaking next Wednesday, and you guys have an event on the 14th, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure, that's the big finale, the big scheme, not the scheme, but the big finale pretty much. So that's when the final round of Student Startup Madness really takes place, and where our Entrepreneurial 8 teams will pitch their startups to a panel of judges. And think of it as a Shark Tank for student startups in digital media and tech.
Oh, very cool. Very good. I like that. The Shark Tank for students. Excellent. Anyone here on campus that has a startup that we should be aware of, keeping our eyes open about?
Oh yeah, there's tons of startups out there. And if you have a startup, digital media or otherwise of your own, you can visit Newhouse's Digital Center for Entrepreneurship, where Sean Brannigan and others will help you talk through your ideas and help you get the confidence that you need to really get out there.
Well, great. Well, South by Southwest begins Friday and runs through March 20th. I want to thank our guest, Cedric Brown, for being with us this morning. And hey, best of luck this weekend at South by.
All right, thank you. You too.
Back to you guys.
3D printing, a technology that was brand new and very expensive just a few years ago, is now becoming more mainstream.
And our reporter, Cheyenne Devon, joins us live now to tell us more about it. Cheyenne, out to you.
Thanks, Jake. I'm here live outside of the Kimmel Computer Lab. Now, when we typically think of computer labs, we think of rows and rows of computers. However, one innovative space at Syracuse University is letting students unleash their creativity with 3D printing.
Open to take on anything that people might want to do. You know, no idea is a bad idea in a makerspace.
From DNA to mini displays, Makerspace at Syracuse University is allowing students to think beyond pen and paper with 3D printing.
So if a student comes in and they have an idea or they have their STL file, we'll help them set it up and show them the best way to print that and then get it printed for them.
With the rise in popularity of 3D printing, the SU Makerspace takes innovation to the next level.
With that 3D printing coming to the forefront, it allows you to think of an idea in the morning of an object, your 3D dimensional idea, and have it in your hand by the afternoon. You could really think of something, design it up pretty quick. The software is very easy to use, very user-friendly.
A wide assortment of machines puts cutting-edge tools in the hands of students and faculty. Beyond SU, companies all over the world are experimenting with 3D printing.
I went to the 3D Printing World Expo in LA last year, and I think they were doing, they were doing so much, it's kind of hard to pick out a favorite. They were printing houses, they were printing clothes, they were printing food, they were printing like cells.
The Makerspace is a space where students can gather to design, create, build, and learn through do-it-yourself approaches.
It's just a place where people are given the tools to do what they want to do, and amazing things come from that.
Now, the best thing about the Makerspace at Syracuse University is that it's completely free. Students and faculty can just bring their SU ID, come in, swipe into the computer lab, and they can print anything that they want for free as long as it's under 150 grams. Now, there's a lot of technology here at the Kimmel Computer Lab in the Makerspace. You can also have things engraved as well as embroidered. So there's a lot of technology right here on SU's campus. The hours are Monday through Friday from about 10 a.m. to midnight, and then Saturday and Sunday from noon to 5. Well, this is Cheyenne Devon. Back to you guys in the studio.
Are trying to have an event for the community that's kind of a spiritual uplifting for everybody to come to. You know, there's not a lot of things on campus that are like this. There's not a lot of gospel choirs on campus. We're actually
Gospel Mania is a yearly event that aims to bring together the community.
The event is organized by the Black Celestial Choral Ensemble of Syracuse University. The group had a specific goal for the celebration this year.
We are trying to have an event for the community that's kind of a spiritual uplifting for everybody to come to. You know, there's not a lot of things on campus that are like this. There's not a lot of gospel choirs on campus. We're actually
Groups from different parts of central New York traveled to perform in Hendricks Chapel.
The gospel music brought the audience to their feet as they cheered and clapped, even at times joining in and singing along.
And Sir George Martin, the producer who helped pioneer the Beatles sound and popular music, has died. Known as the fifth Beatle, his work with the group brought them to 23 #1 songs in America and 30 in the United Kingdom.
Martin worked with many different music acts over the years, but his success came from his 7 years working with the Beatles, making them the most successful band in music history. He was 90 years old and is said to have died peacefully at his home in England.
And with warmer weather finally here, many students will be more likely to venture further than Marshall Street for their dining and nightlife options.
On the Hill reporter Mike Carter joins us in the studio to show us how one off-campus neighborhood has grown considerably in recent years and how one local business has benefited from that success.
Chances are, if you're an upperclassman or you've at least visited the neighborhood known as Westcott Street, whether it be for a concert at Westcott Theater or dinner or at many of the restaurants that line the block, Westcott Street is a go-to option for many off-campus students. In fact, in recent years, it's become a hotbed for small business and entrepreneurs. Westcott Street has historically been a place where SU upperclassmen and grad students choose to live near and frequent for its strong dining, retail, and entertainment options.
Such a great eclectic place. It's It's such a great mix between college students, residents, senior citizens. Just, you know, if you can think of a pot of people or a type of different person, you can find it here at Westcott.
Mellow Velo is one of those eclectic small businesses in the neighborhood. Velo is French for bicycle, and mellow, well, that part is pretty obvious for all who enter. Owner Steve Morris chose to open his business on Westcott Street in 2009 after getting a feel for the neighborhood while attending ESF.
Just a lot of cyclists, an inviting neighborhood, close to the university. It's kind of diverse. It's a neat area. We wanted to be part of it.
In fact, Mellow Velo has become such a success that Steve and his team will be opening a new location closer to SU's campus this spring. The shop plans to renovate and relocate to a 10,000 square foot former industrial building at the corner of Canal Street and Walnut Avenue, just off Erie Boulevard.
Just be able to have a wider array of stuff and be able to cater to more people and have just room to move around, a bit more community space, just be able to take care of people better.
Even though Steve says Mellow Velo will be moving to a neighborhood closer to campus, he says they'll always maintain a location here on Westcott because it's still one of the best areas for business around SU.
You know, we love it. Great neighborhood, good support. I wish there's more commercial space available here.
And while Mellow Velo has outgrown its current headquarters, Steve is grateful to the Westcott community which allowed his small bike shop to make it this far.
I just always really liked bike shops and bikes, and I've worked in them for a long time. And it seemed like there was a need, so we were looking to fill the niche.
And if you'd like to learn more about Mellow Velo and their new location, you can head to their website at mellowvelobicycles.com. Guys?
Thanks, Mike. And people call them the ride of the future, but now several schools and even airlines are banning them, including SU.
That's right. Coming up, one of the men who brought hoverboards into the U.S. is live in our studio. Hear what he has to say about the ban.
And while many Central New Yorkers
are enjoying the mild weather, some businesses are suffering from the lack of snow. I'll tell you why coming up next.
I'm Hunter Sines. This morning we have one of the men who brought hoverboards to the U.S., and he happens to be an SU student. His name is John Muir, a senior at the Whitman School. John, thank you for being here this morning with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Welcome. And so first off, you were one of these people that brought the hoverboards over to the States. Why and how?
Yeah, so the second semester of my junior year, I had the opportunity of studying abroad in Hong Kong, and as a part of the program, we had an allotted 4-week spot for internship opportunities, and the internship that I ended up gaining had me travel over to Shenzhen, which is pretty much the manufacturing hub of the world. You know, Foxconn's factories, iPhones are pumping out of there. So I was surrounded by all these different crazy factories, and one day when I was walking to work, I saw one of these hoverboards for the first time, and I was just so infatuated by the product that I wanted to learn more and more about it and hopefully bring it back to me to the States. And that's what I ended up doing. Once I got back to the States, one of my dad's very good friends and business partners knew somebody that was one of the first people importing them out on the West Coast in California. Kind of started as like a trend out there. We were originally going to start being like the East Coast rep of his brand, but we kind of cut him out because of my connections that I made over there and started importing them directly and becoming kind of one of the first East Coast representatives.
Yeah, and do you still sell them here today?
We do not. We kind of stopped selling them right after our big sellout in the Christmas season. It's a very saturated market right now. There's a lot surrounding them, and very busy college student taking 19 credits trying to graduate in time, and also my business partner is very busy with a couple different ventures that he's working on as well.
Now, there's a big problem with them. They're getting a bad rap for, starting fires, blowing up in the middle of malls and even schools, airports, and airlines have even banned them as well. They're banned here at SU. What do you have to say about the ban? Should they be banned in places?
Yeah, the ban was kind of something that I foresaw when I was first exposed to the idea. I kind of likened it to how drones first came about. When drones first came out, it was like the coolest thing. Everybody wanted to learn more about them, but there was no regulations. It takes a little bit of time for the local governments to catch up and pass these regulations. So I definitely understand where they're coming from. The biggest reason that there are hoverboards that are blowing up is that there's a lot of counterfeits coming out of China. So there is such a crazy increase in demand for this one product that there's so many different Chinese factories that have the capabilities to produce these products that just jumped on board and started pumping them out like crazy. And the unfortunate part was that because it was such a brand new product, there wasn't a lot of testing they could do over here in the States because it wasn't necessarily a kid's toy or a motorized scooter, so it didn't really fit into a category to where they could product test it. And it's just the nature of the lithium-ion battery that makes it somewhat easy to explode.
Did the ban surprise you at all?
Not really, honestly. That's another one of the reasons that we kind of backed out of it. Like I said, it's something that I kind of first saw coming, and just kind of made a decent exit strategy for us.
Now, what do you say to parents who still might want to buy these for their children, although they now are catching fire and exploding?
Right. So the government's doing a really good job on cutting out all of the counterfeit batteries and stuff that are coming in. Even one of our orders was stuck in customs for a couple weeks. Pretty much every brand out there, Islehawk, all the big ones, they're getting stuck in customs for sometimes weeks on end, thousands of dollars of inventory. But it's really the customs people checking these batteries, making sure they're certified, and for the most part, they're Samsung batteries and not the unfortunate counterfeits that we're seeing so many of.
Now, I know you enjoy riding them, as we've seen in the video. Will you continue to ride them yourself?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I love it. It's a great way to get around. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way to meet new people, just because like people always come up to you like, "What is that? Can I try it?" It's actually a surprisingly really good balancing workout. I'm on the SU ski team up here, and for some of our dryland training practices, we set up cones in the building in one of the gyms here, and kind of just like went around them. It's very similar, great, like just kind of core balance workout. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I'll definitely still ride them.
All right, well, John, thank you for joining us here this morning. And although you cannot enjoy the hoverboard ride around campus, you might be able to enjoy them while you're on spring break next week. Just be sure to check the rules wherever you're traveling.
The Syracuse men's basketball team has perhaps its biggest game of the year today at noon down in Washington, D.C. The Orange take on the Pittsburgh Panthers in their first game of the ACC tournament.
ESPN's bracketologist Joe Lenardi has the Orange on the bubble for the NCAA tournament, and a win over Pitt today is said to solidify the Orange's berth to the big dance. Syracuse is 0-2 against Pitt this year, but on the bright side for the Orange, they are 3-0 on neutral course in the 2015-2016 campaign. The game will be televised on ESPN and the ACC network.
Jake, I'm pretty excited about this game. I think the key for us winning is to have Cooney to really get out there and start shooting more threes. What do you think?
I mean, I think so. They've lost a few. Cooney needs to get hot, so we just beat Pitt. That's all I'm saying today. It's just running in my head. And a production of Sleeping Beauty is coming to Syracuse this weekend.
The show, put on by Syracuse City Ballet at the On Center, features mostly local dancers and is very exciting for the arts community.
It's amazing. It's Tchaikovsky's Sleeping Beauty. It's the same music as in the Disney movie, but it's ballet. And our lead dancer is the highest ranked dancer in the New York City Ballet.
The performance takes place this Friday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m.
Tickets range between $17 and $55 and are available by calling the On Center box office. For children under 12, tickets are just $10.
And in another show, this year's Dance Work show was a 30th anniversary celebration called Just Dance.
That slogan was inspired by Nike's Just Do It campaign. Dancework told us that the show's theme was centered around the athleticism and talent of the dancers and the hard work that they put into performing.
But even with the anniversary celebration, Friday's show was bittersweet for the senior director who is graduating.
It's one of the big things that I'm really going to miss the most. Dance has been my outlet. I'm an engineering major, so dance is the only time that I get to de-stress, except for sleeping. But yeah, Dancework's just the people. I've made most of my friends here, so I'm definitely going to look back and I'm going to keep texting them every day and seeing what they're doing. But yeah, it's definitely going to be one of the things I miss the most.
The snow is melting, which means spring has almost sprung, but some seasonal businesses in the area aren't too happy about it, especially after such a mild winter.
Local ski centers in the area have had to make their own snow for the majority of the season just to keep their slopes open. However, Bill Hain, operations manager at the Four Seasons Ski Resort, says that still wasn't enough to turn a profit.
So we're both from Florida, Jake. I think I enjoyed this mild winter, even though the business has suffered. How about you?
I enjoyed it. Anytime there's not a lot of snow, I know it hurts business, but I'm just like, less snow, the better.
Yeah.
That's my motto.
Hopefully there'll be some more next year so they can recover.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, do you know the difference between all natural and organic foods?
We'll tell you when we come back.
It's okay.
Welcome back and good morning. Grocery shopping always has its difficulties, from which brand of food to get, to what kind of food to get, how much to get.
Many people seem to go for the all-natural foods, thinking that they must be healthier, when in reality, they might not be. Max Darrow is here now with more.
Good morning, Jake and Nicole. Labels can be misleading. You may see buzzwords like all natural, natural, even 100% natural, but buyer beware, because it might not mean what you think.
Natural, all natural, 100% natural. You see it on food labels all the time, but what does it actually mean?
Many shoppers confuse it with organic.
They imply that organic foods are better for you, but everything we eat is organic.
But in reality, there isn't a standard definition. Just about anything can have that natural label because the Food and Drug Administration has not developed a definition for the use of the term natural. Per customer demand and new competition, the Tops Market on Nottingham Road recently doubled the size of its organic section.
I think people are looking to go a little bit more natural, organic, and with the wider selection, it gives them more options to choose from, and to mix in with their regular shopping.
In order to be considered organic, the food must have this USDA stamp of approval on the label. When you're shopping, you can tell the difference between organic and all-natural foods two easy ways. One, by the label, and two, the price. Generally, organic foods are more expensive.
Within maybe a few dollar difference, but it does tend to be a little bit on the higher end.
One of the most popular items from the organic shop?
I would say the chips are definitely one item that I've seen a few people who would prefer organic over regular.
But to some, price is the most important factor, so they'll stick with the all-natural foods for now.
Unless your physician tells you to eat them for some reason, but no one's ever told me to eat them, so I don't buy it.
Sometimes, depends on the price. Don't always have the few extra dollars.
In November, the Food and Drug Administration opened a public comment period on the use of the term natural on food labels. It recently extended that period to May. The FDA is asking the public if it's appropriate to define the term natural, how it should be defined, and what is an appropriate use of the term on food labels. Now, moving ahead, let's take a look at what to expect for your weekend on the Hill. Not a crazy weekend on the Hill as spring break is beginning, but nevertheless, there's always things to do here on the Syracuse Hill. If the men's basketball team beats Pitt today in a must-win game, they'll get to play North Carolina in the ACC quarterfinal tomorrow at noon. That's on ESPN. Then on Friday, spring break begins. The Student Association is offering shuttles to the Regional Transportation Center and Airport from Shine all weekend, Friday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And throughout the rest of the weekend, you can check their Twitter. Safe travels to everybody traveling this weekend. Also, whether you're at the airport, home, vacation, or still here on the Hill, the ACC semifinals are on ESPN at 7 and 9. Hopefully we get to see the Cuse play, but nevertheless, it'll be good games. Looking ahead to Saturday, you won't want to miss the St. Patrick's Day Parade downtown. It's on Salina Street. It starts at noon. Then later, head to the Syracuse stage for a performance of To Kill a Mockingbird showing at 3 and at 8 o'clock. Finally, on Sunday, head off campus to the Syracuse Antiques Expo at the Fairgrounds. What a fitting way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Also, you can tune in for Selection Sunday to see if the Orange make it to the NCAA tourney. That's on CBS at 5:30. Either way, go outside and enjoy the beautiful weather because we've got a gorgeous March weekend ahead. It's going to rain on Thursday, but the rest of the weekend will be great. Take a look at these highs and lows. Low of 32 on Friday, but look at that. You got 57 on Sunday and 63 on Saturday. Jake and Nicole, what a time to be alive.
And it was crowded here on the Hill over the weekend as crowds packed into the Dome as Monster Jam came to town.
It was the final stop on the Fox Sports Monster Jam Tour, and lines of people filed in to see the event. 16 giant trucks competed in the race. The winner gets to move on to the final championship race in Las Vegas later this month. So what do you think, guys? Did any of you go see it?
I think Max did, didn't you?
I didn't see the show. I was there beforehand, but I got to see the trucks. It was awesome. I've never seen a monster truck before.
It was a really crowded campus, too. I know some of the trucks were kind of on the parking lots back behind the Dome, and I was out walking, and there's people everywhere.
Traffic everywhere. They had all the lights were shut down, cops everywhere, but hey, it sounds like people had a good time.
And I think today the most important thing is beat Pitt.
Absolutely. You have to win. Pitt, they beat us twice this year. However, do you think they can beat us 3 times? That's a pretty big feat. We're 3-0 in non-conference play, neutral court play, excuse me.
I really think since they didn't get to play last year that they're going to pull it off. They have the motivation they need to do it.
And that's all the time we have for you this morning. Thank you for squeezing the most out of your morning with us. I'm Jacob Reynolds.
And I'm Nicole Griffin. Have a great spring break, Syracuse, and we'll see you in a few weeks.